Well, it seems to be that time again. We've had another month and some more comments and questions come in. So it's time to answer them. The first one. Do either of you watch American van dwellers or RVers? If so, who? And have either of you ever been to America? I don't watch any van dwellers from America, to be honest.
No.
Basically because we're not planning on going over there, so most of the van people we watch are over in this country.
Or Europe.
Or Europe, yeah.
But no.
And I've never been to America.
I have. Way back. I went with a friend to Seattle. They had relatives there, so we based ourselves in Seattle and went up and down the West Coast. Got down to LA and San Francisco and then up into Canada for a couple of days. That was a long time ago.
Second one. I'm a campervanner and I've now mothballed my van due to the current situation. Have you done the same? Well, we were going to, weren't we?
We were going to take the opportunity while the diesel was cheap to run out and fill it up. Yes.
On the last day of
April. And we can't get it started at the moment. It stood for a little while, so the battery was flat, and I don't think the fuel's getting through or something. I don't know, but
it's still insured. And we were gonna. The MOT's run out, which wasn't a problem anyway. The tax ran out at the end of April as well, didn't it?
So we were going to sort it, but we haven't done as yet.
We decided not to. So at the moment, anyway. So the MOT's is. Now, but it's okay for the next 6 months, obviously, because of the extension or whatever. So we're hoping that if there's any lessening of the lockdown, that we can just up and go once we can get it started.
That's today's job.
One of many. Next one. I would be very interested to hear about your thoughts on dog training, as your pups are so well behaved, as compared to our dog, who is a bearded collie, who is a complete monster. We've never been any good at dog training, unfortunately. We cannot say the same for our dogs who cannot say the same for our dogs who have sussed out within 10 minutes. If you could tell us a bit about each of them, their personalities, quirks, etc., that would be good. Well, that's a
video in itself.
It's a video that we've started making.
Yeah, we've started putting it together, showing you each individual one and their traits. Good and bad. But as to training, we've just been very strict with them, haven't we? From the start?
We are quite strict with them,
and we seem to have got on top of them early on. And then when we've added others to the family, then they seem to have learned.
You've always said, haven't you, that what the older dogs always train the younger ones.
So,
I mean, we've struggled a bit with Bay because she originally went to an elderly couple who'd never had a dog before, and they couldn't cope with her. So,
but they doted on her.
They did. And she was spoiled
a little bit. So, but then her bad behaviour was put down to it's just what puppies do. So they didn't get on top of her, and so it's taken some time to not break her, but to get on top of her and sort her out. But she's getting there.
She's getting there, and she's a chewer. That's the thing, isn't it? And we've not really had a chewer before, have we? But it's something that you've always said, isn't it? It's the sound of a newspaper.
A rolled up newspaper.
You don't have to smack them with it. We don't do that. But just a rolled up newspaper and bang it on the side of the sofa or a table, and it stops them.
But if you do tap the backside with the roll up, it doesn't hurt. It's not like a whip or anything silly. But it doesn't hurt, but it makes a big bang, and they don't like the sound.
It just pulls them up, doesn't it?
If you bash it against your hand.
Yeah, it just pulls them up and stops them, doesn't it? So, and then you can just check them. But yeah, we are pretty lucky. They are good dogs.
They do pull on leads, which is something that it's hard to get out of them with the walking the four together. But if they do start pulling, I put the lead under one of the front legs, and it just works like a halty. As they pull, it just pulls the head down. You get comments saying, "Oh, your dog's got its leg trapped" and things like that, but it does actually work. It just pulls the head down and it just checks them again.
We've never been a fan of halties, have we?
No.
Or choke chains or anything like that. So it's something that we're still working on, isn't it?
Yes.
I think it's going to be an ongoing working battle. Yeah. So. Are you Are you considering changing your van? And if so, what would you go for next? 4 canines in your van must be getting a bit cramped.
No, I don't think we are. He hasn't told me yet.
No, we like our van.
Believe it or not, there is plenty of room. The older dogs tend to just take themselves off into the cab at night.
They've got their own
Whether
space,
that's a
haven't they?
bit cooler or whatever, or again, like Darryl says, they're a bit more space for them. But no, they all settle down. And you're tripping over dogs like you are at home. We've got 4 in the house, so you've always got 1 dog under your feet.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, they do tuck themselves away, don't they?
Yeah,
They're quite. As long as they've had a walk and they've had some exercise, they're quite happy. They just go to sleep.
Yeah.
Unless it's food time, and then it's like anywhere else, dogs will,
Tell you.
either. So, okay, that was the next one. Okay, guys. So, do you use Google Maps to search for sites or park for night, or do you find your own park ups? Oh, sorry. Do you use Google Maps, search for sites, park for night, etc. to find your park ups? And if not, how do you find somewhere? We do use Park for Night.
We have used Park for Night.
We use it as a rough guide more than anything.
We have used Google Maps because somebody was explaining how they used it, so we gave that a try. And it's really just having an arsenal of different apps and information and finding places.
A lot of the time we just
hit on somewhere.
We drop lucky. We did say on the Cornish trip, the last trip, didn't we, that we would never leave it too late. Sometimes we're leaving it till dusk before we go and search for somewhere, and that was getting a bit too late. So we tend to, a couple of hours before we know it's going to start going, the light's going to go, we'll go and find somewhere. But
we were getting a bit tetchy then, weren't we? Yeah. And hungry because we hadn't eaten anything. So.
But no, I mean, we used mostly follow our noses and
look.
I think. Yeah. So. Now here's an interesting one. Would you consider using Patreon, and if so, why? No,
we didn't. No, I think is the answer. Why? We didn't set out to make any money on these videos. They were put up as a record for ourselves, as we said before, and with no real intention to
make money. It's
to bring in any revenue this way. The adverts at the beginning of the videos do bring us a little bit every now and again, but not.
No. And to be honest, I think we have both said in the past we don't like Patreon. We think it's a form of begging. To be honest, it's like, look at me, look what I'm doing, pay me for it, and that's just not us. I mean, each to their own. It's not a problem, but it's just not for us. Is that it for that? Mm-hmm. In one of your early videos, you used Brit Stops. Do you recommend buying the book? I would say buy it once, but I wouldn't buy it again. We used it twice, I think. But,
so, yeah.
And if you bought it once, it's a guide, because most of those places are always going to be in it anyway. But most pubs, to be honest, and a lot of other places.
Yeah, we know other channels. Kev for one, Womble. He goes to the pub anyway and has a drink and then chats at the barman and gets to stay the night.
I mean, to be honest, most pubs
are quite happy.
As long as you buy a drink or something to eat, they're going to let you stay there because it's custom, isn't it, for them? So, no, we won't buy it again. Do we recommend it? Maybe as a one-off, but no, I just use this and ask. And if you get turned away, you get turned away. But majority of the times, you're not going to know. So, do you regret not having an oven in your van?
No.
No.
Or a microwave. We
bought a
microwave lasted about 2 days, and we decided we'd took it back because we didn't want it.
We didn't even install it, did we? We bought it and then.
An oven? No. To be fair, we very rarely use an oven at home. We do a lot of cooking on the top of the
fresh
stove,
stuff,
stir fries and frying and things like that. So ovens,
No,
wasn't really an
it was
essential
never
part.
something we said about, is it? So, and to be honest, if you wanted something that you could warm up in an oven, you could virtually do it in the ridge monkey anyway.
You can stick it in most things in a pan anyway.
Yeah. So, okay. What is the one must-have thing that you have in your van for comfort?
Comfort? I don't know. Must-have thing in the van.
For comfort, I think the seat. Yes. Having a nice comfy seat.
Yes, we got some, and having them recovered, but that was nice.
Yeah. I think it's long enough.
A nice thick duvet for night.
And I have a comfort blanket that I just wrap around my head. Keith says I look like a Bedouin.
Yeah.
But I would say mostly the sofa, because when you come back from being out for the day or whatever, you've got somewhere you can sit and relax rather than having to go onto the bed and sit on the bed or anything. So I think, I would say that's it, to be honest. Yeah. My van is 6.5 metres long. Or 6.5 metres long, if you don't want to mix the two.
Yeah.
Did you see many long wheelbase vans in Cornwall? And do you think that I would struggle to plan a route around the country in mine? Any advice or tips?
There's a certain lanes in Cornwall that you might struggle, but
majority.
I mean, it's the width that and height that it does most of the time.
Yeah.
But,
the camera might get knocked now because Nab's about to stretch.
Yeah, there we go.
Where was it? It was Port Isaac.
Yes.
We got halfway down Port Isaac, and there were no signs at the top. You might have seen in the video we did of it. There were no signs at the top of that road to say that we wouldn't get narrowed.
And then we were following another van anyway, so he'd missed any signs over there.
But no, I wouldn't panic about it. If you get stuck, you can reverse. Can't you?
I mean, we did get close to
wedged.
getting wedged on a one bend, and
but managed to get out.
That was very narrow
lane,
wasn't it? Yeah. A hairpin bend.
If you had to give one up, would it be the campervan or the caravan, and why? Now that is swings and roundabouts. If we had to give one up,
I suppose it would be the caravan.
Yeah.
And I know it's a little boat hole, and last minute we can just nip out to the Derbyshire Peaks and for the weekend or whatever. But with the motorhome, at least you can get out further, and it's every holiday.
Yeah, and the caravan is only seasonal, whereas the van's all year. So, probably the caravan. I wouldn't like to give either up, but if push came to shove, I think it'd be the caravan. Okay, what's next? I'm doing well. I'm reading this without my glasses. Sorry?
You typed them, so you should be able to read.
Made them bigger. Are you members of the Caravan and Camping or Motorhome Club? No.
You were?
We have been in the past.
But we've hardly used sites anymore, so...
We don't like using sites.
We're more self-sufficient than we have been, really.
Yeah.
We don't use the sites as much.
We don't like a lot of the rules, and we've got 4 dogs, so a lot of them wouldn't like that many dogs anyway.
Always go down well, does it?
No,
but no, we tend to just fend for ourselves.
Yeah. So yes, we have been in the past, especially when we were camping. We were, weren't we? More, but not anymore. So I don't think we will be again, to be honest. There's not enough benefits for us to be. When you know where you're going on a long trip, how much planning do you actually do?
None. I do none.
That's my department.
I don't know, planning as in routes or planning as in what you're taking, or...
On what we're taking, we're pretty...
frugal.
We're frugal on what we take, but we also... It's all there, isn't it?
So the thing is, clothes-wise, you've got to take stuff for any weather, any climate. And you don't use half of it.
Food-wise, there's always a cupboard in there that's got tins in it and packets of stuff.
route-wise,
Well, with food-wise, I was just going to say, I tend to, because Keith's at work, and I tend to make the first couple of meals, so we just have to warm them up. Route-wise,
we have a vague idea where we're going, but we don't plan it down to any detail.
no, I mean, we've got the books, we've got the wild guides.
It changes daily, doesn't it?
Yeah, we'll see what the weather's like.
If we like somewhere, we'll stay perhaps an extra day or move on if there's nothing there to see.
When we know a rough area, I do tend to go on YouTube a bit and just look what's around and what might be worth visiting. As I say, we've got the wild guides, which are really handy books.
They are.
But no, we don't plan it down to
we don't have a daily itinerary. We sort of plan the next day in the evening, don't we?
Yeah.
And say, oh, how do fancy this bit?
Yeah, and then the morning after we planned it that evening, it can change again depending on weather, depending on how we feel. I mean, we've gone away before and then come back a day early sometimes, haven't we? Or managed to stay away an extra day. So we plan, but not
rigidly.
Rigidly, yeah, that's the word. Do you think when all this madness in the world is over, it will be good for UK tourism? Yes. It might not be good for us.
There'll be a lot. Oh,
that's the camera. Watch your tail now.
Sit down.
Yeah, I think it'll be good for UK tourism because a lot of people aren't going to be able to go abroad, either on ferries, flying, or whatever. So there's going to be a lot more people in this country. This camera is going to go. Lie down.
Lie down. Good boy.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more people who live in this country visiting parts of this country, and it will be good for tourism.
That's if the areas can open up quick enough to benefit from it.
But I mean, even long term, I think for a long time, people won't be travelling abroad the same. To be honest, from stuff we've seen on the news, a lot of countries aren't going to be welcoming people from abroad anyway. So it'll be bad for us because obviously it'll make things a lot busier. So it won't be quite as easy for us, I don't think. But now there's another bum going to knock the camera. There we go. So yes, I think it will be good for the tourism industry in this country. Have you ever considered changing the colour of your van? And if so, what colour have you thought of?
That's your...
Well, we did. No, we both talked about it, didn't we? But we looked into it and it was too expensive. It was too expensive to either paint or it was too expensive to wrap. The colour that we both liked was like a military grey, wasn't it?
Battleship
grey. That's the colour we both liked.
I mean, we painted the Land Rover ambulance, didn't we?
Yeah, that was military green, wasn't it?
And that was painted by hand. But I think this one, I don't think you could get away with painting it by hand.
No, I think it looked too rough to be honest. So.
It wouldn't be in keeping with the vehicles.
No. So
it's going to probably stay white.
I would think so.
Or rusty red.
As time goes on. Nearly at the end of this. I noticed on your new ending that you haven't got the awning on now. What's the reason for that?
Well, we hardly use it, to be fair. It was one that we had to roll out and get the legs. We had it out when we were camping
off-grid.
And the wind took it because we didn't bother putting guys on it.
But we don't use it. Again, we don't park up on sites, which is where we probably would use it. So, and to be honest, if we were parked up somewhere and we pulled the awning out, then it draws a bit more attention to us. So, and we don't need it.
I mean, all the fittings are there. It's just run on the caravan groove. And so if we decided that we were going away, it could be just slotted in without any problem. But like you say, it's one of those that we've got, but we don't use. So
we can sit. If it's nice weather, we can sit outside the van. If it's rubbish weather, we can sit in the van, but with the door open. So, yeah. So yeah, we found we don't really need it. So. Oh, now here's one. Are you ready for this one?
Not really.
Do you think
I don't think.
That you will let Bay have puppies. I would love to have a pup from your dogs.
Been there, done that. Towar's the result of one of the litters we've had. Not one was planned, and then the other one was an accident.
Yeah.
But at the moment, probably not.
No, we have spoken to the vet already about having Bay spayed. Obviously, she can't. She's too young at the moment. We don't plan to because I'm not saying it's easy, but it's not as easy as it was now because obviously, although with previous litters we've wormed them and they've had the first inoculations and whatever, now you've got to get them chipped and there's a heck of a lot more hassle, isn't there? So,
it is. But, I mean, they would her and Babe, her and Nav. I get confused their names.
Couldn't go on either, right?
Would make nice pups.
They would. They make lovely pups, but it's not something we're planning, to be honest. Sorry, you won't get all the puppies. Unless there's an accident. All right. Can you both tell us what would be your first pick for your best ever van and what would the layout be?
That's a difficult one because we've got this van. We're not really looked. I mean, we obviously look around other people's with a great interest, but we always go back to ours and say, "Well, it's home. It's isn't it? It's ours.
We've got the layout we want because we planned the layout, so it's the best layout for us."
Different van. I mean, a van's a van, isn't it? It's the box on wheels.
Yeah. We like the Masters. The bodies are galvanised, aren't they? So they don't really rust. It's not as wide as some vans, but we're not very tall, so we can sleep across the back. So that's not a problem. So it's a difficult one, but
I mean, we haven't since we've had it. We've not been saying, "Oh, we need to look at the next van and start planning that." We're quite happy with this one at the moment.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else we go for in the immediate or long-term future, to be honest.
And there are things that we want to look at. I'm not quite happy. We've got a powered pumped water, but I'm not particularly convinced it's brilliant at the moment.
Yeah, I mean,
so that needs looking at.
It doesn't
tweaking and
doesn't pump as powerfully as it should, does it?
We don't think so. We need to look at that
compared to some others we've seen. But there's not a lot else we'd change anyway. So I'm just looking at it now. No, I don't think so. I think for us, who is the better cook? And what is your favourite meal that you cook from scratch in the campervan?
In the campervan.
We both enjoy cooking. We're both
capable
of cooking. So I wouldn't say there's a best cook. We both.
I mean, history. We used to bake and sell. That wasn't me. It was one of the dogs dreaming
About being in the van.
But we used to bake and sell our pies and quiches and all sorts, didn't we? At a country market. So we are generally good cooks.
Yeah. It's a good dream.
Thank you. We are good cooks. Good. Yeah. We think we're good cooks.
I don't think we've got any complaints from anyone.
Cooking in the van, in the van we tend to like one pot stuff, don't we?
Yeah.
So we throw it all in: stews, casseroles.
Yeah. I think one of the best things we ever made in the van from scratch was a pizza.
Yeah.
That we did in the original cooking. We bought a ready-made pizza dough, didn't we? That you just had to roll out. But I think we made all the ingredients from scratch. And we did it in the original key, and which again proves it's possible to do without having to have an oven. So, hello. Was that a good dream? Was that a nice dream? Yeah. Well, they can't see me now, though. So, I would say the pizza. To be honest. So, of course, we've had some fails as well, but everyone has fails, don't they? So, maybe you could answer this one as well, but how are you finding lockdown?
Well, I've only just been furloughed, so I'm only just getting. Well, I say just second week now. So I'm only just getting used to being locked down.
It's not really been a problem. I found it difficult at first because I wasn't taking the dogs out in the Land Rover. Every day before lockdown, I was taking the dogs out for a walk. But then when lockdown started, I wasn't risking it because obviously at the time it was frowned upon.
But now
they've relaxed a little bit and
they've relaxed the guidelines to the police, haven't they? So you're allowed to drive a short journey for wobbling the camera.
Hey, come here.
You're allowed to drive for a short period, and then exercise. So that's what we're doing. But we're finding local walks or using local walks. And,
yeah.
You know,
so we're not finding it too bad. We're still shopping when we need to, aren't we?
Essential every now and again.
Yeah.
It's not every day.
Which obviously, like everyone else, it's a bit of a pain. We used to go to the big supermarket, to Tesco and whatever, but now we're finding the local co-op is quieter.
We're not queuing for
half ages to get in there.
Just to get in.
We're not queuing for ages to get to a checkout. So, all in all, it's not really affecting us, is it? We're also lucky that we've got a garden, so we can sit in the garden when the weather's nice. So, it can't be very nice if you're stuck in a high rise or anything like that.
No.
We really feel for those people.
Or if you're on your own, I think.
Yeah, if you're on your own, then it's not easy. I mean, I did look forward to Keith getting home from work, to be honest. Especially when I would only had the dogs to talk to and not seeing anyone else out on walks and stuff. Being comfy. Okay, and this is, well, 2 questions left. So, what are your 10 favourite places that you visited in Scotland? So, we had to work at this one a bit and had to look back at some videos or whatever. So, I'll let you read them.
It was so difficult to come up with 10 because it was such a great holiday. We enjoyed everything we did, and it was quite a varied variety of things that we did. The only perhaps disappointment was when we tried to get up Glencoe, Ben Nevis rather. And everything was shut down because it was the end of the season. But
I wish it had been now rather than, 18 months ago?
18 months, yeah. Because
I was still really overweight then, and I didn't do half the walking that I'm doing now. I would have loved to have. I mean, Keith went to some places, and I just said, no, I'll wait here in the van. So some places I would have liked to have seen that when I've watched the video back that Keith took, I was thinking that, yeah, I'd liked it. But the 10 places, we have made a list of 10 places. So.
We have, and it's not exhaustive because there's other places I'm just thinking now that aren't on this list. Little harbours that we found and things. But the 10 we've got, Applecross, I think, is a must.
Applecross is number 1, I think.
We were very fortunate that it was the time of year it was, so there was snow on the ground. There were very few motorhomes going up
the road wasn't busy
at all. So I think we got the best of both worlds. And when we were up there, we had the sunshine as well. So I think everything just fell together on that.
If you're going up to Scotland, that is are you going there? If you're going up to Scotland, that is a must-do if you're doing the West Coast.
Yeah, I think that's the only one I'd put first. When Darryl asked me, show me the question or ask me the question, that was one that came straight to mind.
And I don't think it's one to be frightened of either. You will hear some horror stories about, you shouldn't take a long vehicle up there. We had absolutely no problems in ours, did we?
No.
I don't think you've struggled, so don't be put off if anyone says, don't take a big vehicle up it. To be honest, you're getting delivery vans and trucks going over it anyway, so as long as you're confident at driving, you'll be fine.
And then really no particular order. The Fairy Glen on Skye.
Yeah, that was nice.
Round the Coolins, that area was really good. Loch Ewe, really because that was the Russian convoys gathered there, and my dad was in for a period of time on the Russian convoys as an escort carrier, or on an escort carrier.
So we're really pleased we went there.
A bit of interest and family interest
Yeah.
on that one.
Where else?
Smooth Cave.
See, that's one I regret. I didn't go down. I just said, "Oh, that's too far. I can't walk that far."
Nice. Yeah, that was a really nice experience.
Again, it was quiet though, wasn't it, when you went down? So I think height of the season, it might be a different story. It was nice and quiet.
I suppose it's like anywhere, isn't it? If you go to Cornwall at the height of the season, the beaches are crowded and the roads are packed. So Bruff Bay, very lovely little spot we found. Well, we didn't find. We were taken there by our friends, and we got to see seals fairly close up. So that was really really good.
And just near there, I mean, we parked right down a little track thing onto the quay of the harbour,
the old harbour, wasn't it?
But not far from there, there's a workshop, a guy called Keith Parks, and he's a woodworker, isn't he? And he makes some brilliant stuff. The tabletop we've got in the van came from him. He's worth a visit. Just go and knock on his door. I'm sure he'll show you around if you're up there.
The Whirligig Steps.
Yeah.
Down
again. I didn't go right down there. I said it was too far.
That was quite an experience. Shagra Beach for camping. That was just almost sand dune type of place, wasn't it? And you just paid a sort of a nominal honesty box for the night.
That was lovely. That could have stayed there another night, to be honest. If we were off rushing with these friends.
The views around Old Manor Store, again on Skye.
Again, we were lucky. I mean, I think the Old Manor Store at any point you saw it is like it's got that wow factor in it. But we just hit it right because it was cloudy and the clouds were they just made it, didn't they, for us really? The way they were forming and over the
and then
peaks and whatever.
Fort William, we met Jacob there, didn't we? But then there's the old wreck. Carpack, or somebody did pull us up on the pronunciation. I still can't remember what it is, but the wreck's another experience to do. Different experience, isn't it? Just to look something to look around.
And it's so photogenic as well, that wreck.
And then back into the mountains and sort of Glen Etive and that area.
Yeah, again, we were there with Jacob as well, so he was able to show us around, and it had a bit of. It was special to him because he paddled there a lot in his boat, and that's where some of the James Bond
was
filmed, was it? Glen Etive. There are lots more places, so
it's not an exhaustive list at all, is it?
I think there's one more question.
Where will be the first place you head to after lockdown?
In the van, I mean, the first place we'll head to probably for a weekend away is the caravan, isn't it?
Yeah.
But in the van, we don't know.
It really depends on work again. Because everybody will be trying to book holidays. I know we can roll them over now, so that'd be good for us. But it's really just fitting in, and you don't know. And we'll have to see where's open as well, I suppose, immediately after lockdown, because it might be phased, or areas might not still want a lot of tourism straight away because of the possible pressures on their national health system service in that area. But
you've got a week booked off in June, haven't you? You've not cancelled that. We're just going to wait and see what happens in the next few weeks. Seaside or countryside, though, I don't know.
Could be Anglesey. Could be the lakes.
Yeah. Shropshire's calling as well for some reason at the moment. My granddad on my dad's side was originally from Shropshire, and I've never been. You've always said it's flat, haven't you?
Yeah.
But
it's an extension to the Cheshire Plain, isn't it? So, and I always assume it more go down. It's going to be less wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
As far as I can remember, I can't.
Probably somewhere out in the wilds, to be honest. Well,
everything gets back to normal,
settles and whatever. But yeah.
But,
So that's it for these questions. So if we get a load more in, we'll do another next month. But as always, thanks for the questions.
Yeah, hope we've answered them to your satisfaction. If not, ask them again. But I think it must be coffee time.
I think it must
or
be
is it a biscuit time, babe?
Might be biscuit time. You're getting restless then. But yeah, thank you for watching. I don't think we ever really mentioned that we're on Instagram as well. Just Campervan Tales, campervan.tales on Instagram. We're on Facebook as well. As well as YouTube, aren't we? We're always putting pictures of you up, aren't we, on Insta? And thank you for watching. And give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Share our videos. Let other people know about us. And the more people who watch us, the better for us. That's all the thanks we want.
You missed.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.